Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.
Well, thank you for joining me. This is Kati Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast, another Thursday episode that is a mini version of our full show. It's where you and I get together to just add a little more value and maybe some new thoughts to your life that will help support your beauty, wellness, health, all of the businesses that you run. I know that everybody listening is multifaceted and I love being with you. So thank you for joining me today. Today we're talking about technology cannot replace everything. Now I have industry friends that are obsessed with tech. And okay, first off, I run Maya, a technology solution for our industry. This software is unlike any other. You're going to hear about it in the endorsements of the show. So I won't get too into it. But it has been a huge driving force for my own salon businesses. I created it because I needed a solution to a scheduling problem. And literally in the last 4 months, it's generated our salon business over $110,000. So I do appreciate technology. I'm in it. And there's yet still some crutches that I want to go through with you because it cannot replace everything. And for my industry friends that are obsessed with tech, I'm going to lovingly share that sometimes I think it's a way to hide behind a screen. It's very, very easy for you to become obsessed with how can tech solve this problem when, as leaders, sometimes it takes manual, face-to-face conversation and implementation. So here's an example of just one little thing. Let's say you do not have technology in place that will let your customer base know what you have available every single week. Well, then you need to do it manually. So I don't want you to say, oh, I can't, there's no text automation or email automation to present our openings to our customer base, so I'm just not going to do this task. Well, instead, you do the task because butts in the seats is the name of the game. And if we're not booked and we're not busy, then there's other problems we're going to have to solve throughout the week. Usually they're HR problems, if you know what I mean. So we make it a point to manually create an email every single Monday that shows our client base at both locations at our salons. Here's what we have available. And we don't get crazy granular with it. It's as simple as on Tuesday, downtown, we could see you at 9 a.m. with this stylist or 11 a.m. with this stylist. We don't get into what the client could get done at those times because the email is really just to prompt our customer base to book an appointment this week. There are openings. I'm going to check it out. I want that. It creates FOMO. It creates urgency. And it's a necessary strategy to get booked. Every single week we use tech, by the way. This is called Asana. This is a tool that helps us manage our tasks, helps us communicate with each other. And in this tool, we track how many openings do we have as of Monday for this entire week. And then at the end of the week, we look at how many of those bookings did we fill up. And traditionally, we are booking about half of our gaps every week on the spot. Now, you know how it goes. You'll have maybe 8 openings, and then all of a sudden, a couple people call to reschedule. Now you have 12 openings. So, like, you have to be on this. These are things that you have to pay attention to, and that may require your manual eyes to be involved, or somebody at your salon, like a real physical person, to step in and be in charge of and be involved. Technology can't solve and be our answer and solution for everything. There are times that tech is not the answer. One of those is for authentic, in person conversations. There will never be a robot that will have a mind of its own, we hope, right? That could actually connect with our guests as authentically as we do. There's something very special about the industry we're in that can never be replaced with tech. And let me just tell you a little bit about how even AI, like specifically Chat GPT, is actually making us dumber. I don't know how else to say it, but let me just share this. MIT just completed the first brain scan study on Chat GPT users, and the results are terrifying. 4 months of data reveal the cost of quote unquote easy answers. Here's what they discovered at MIT. Are you ready? 83% of people who used ChatGPT to write couldn't remember anything they wrote just minutes later. And only 11% forgot when they used Google or their own brain. Like, so technology can't replace your own brain power. It's funny, our salon was working on a kind of a YouTube shorts how-to video campaign. We're going to create 45 videos throughout the course of a year of little mini how-tos, like basic things like how to use dry shampoo. I mean, these are real necessary tips that our customers desire, and we, our own businesses, can be the solution for them. And it takes like no effort. We're so used to making content. It should be on YouTube. YouTube is the most popular media platform, by the way. So this is an initiative we're working on. Well, I sat down and I created a list of 20 how-to ideas, and I sent it to our marketing team, and I said, P.S., I did not use ChatGPT for these. And they were both like, that's super impressive that you came up with a list of 20 how. And I just sat and thought, what are the struggles from my own friends who are not in the industry? I had these moms that I was sitting by at my son's baseball game who were like talking about, oh, I should use dry shampoo. I never have. I don't know. And I'm like, what? I can't believe you don't know how to use dry shampoo and you never have. Like, I literally dropped dry shampoo off at their house the next day, all excited, and gave them my best tips. And it's so, to us, the things that are like, oh my gosh, we've been using this, we do this all the time, to our customers, they have a need. They need us to help them. So don't take away from your own creativity. Technology cannot replace, and that's the next thing, your own creative expression. If we rely too much on it, we're going to become dumber. So let me continue to share. The brain scans, these MIT study said the brain scans told a terrifying story. Neural connections crashed from 79 to just 42. That's a 47% collapse. What does that mean? It goes on to say that if your laptop lost half its power, you'd throw it out. That's exactly what's happening inside the brains of heavy ChatGPT user. The human brain, when left to think for itself, fires on all cylinders. But in contrast, if it's assisted with writing, it risks leaving that engine idle. The MIT teachers called the people using these platforms eventually, or the platforms themselves. Let me reiterate. Teachers called these platforms soulless, perfect grammar, and zero personality. There's no depth, no nuance. It's just recycled structure. In other words, if we get too used to ChatGPT captions and checklists, like we're going to be uninspired individuals. So technology cannot replace that. We are very creative. We are artistic. Let's not make it a crutch. It is easy. It is profound in many ways. I use it all the time, but I still, like, for example, I launched my book for some of you. If you have not gotten it yet, the link is in our show notes, called From First Date to Forever, an owner's guide to marketing like a matchmaker. I wrote this book in 5 weeks, and it was like, it just flowed out of me. The creativity just flowed out of me, and I couldn't wait to share my best tips on how the consumer buying process perfectly emulates what it's like to go through the desire for love, dating, then falling in love, and being in a committed relationship. Did I use ChatGPT for this book? A couple times. And what did I use it for? Well, I wanted to make sure my statistics were accurate. So in the book, if I share, for example, 87%, what I just shared a moment ago, let me just go back to that. It was 83%. So 83% of people who used ChatGPT to write couldn't remember anything they wrote just minutes later. That would be one of those nuggets of an example of a statistic that I shared in the book that I did use ChatGPT to help me make sure that it was sourced properly. Where did that statistic come from? And then that's part of the appendix of the book. Hey, this fact, this percentage, this number I shared, here's where that source came from. Those are ways that you use it. But there are people who are writing books and guides and whatever with ChatGPT, and you know what? It's stale. It's like you can tell the minute something's ChatGPT, you can tell. And it's actually starting to drive me nuts. I don't know how you feel about it, but I want us to rely on our own brain power because we have it. Technology cannot help you build community in your own backyard. Wherever your business is located, if you have a brick and mortar, there has to be some in-person level of communication and relationship building to create that sense of belonging to your brand. It is hard to rely on technology for the emotional intelligence of an individual. Like, you have to help your leaders grow their emotional intelligence, what we know as EQ, and technology can't do that. You, as a leader, have to impart wisdom on them, which is another lead in to the next thing technology cannot provide you is education through mentorship. There is no platform with tech that is going to help somebody baby into the industry, this new professional, grow up and become awesome at their craft if they don't have a real human being to mentor them, share their experiences. There's just nothing like that. And technology can't do that for them, no matter how many videos that they watch or different tech tools that they utilize to get better at their craft. There just is nothing that can replace that human interaction and that education through mentorship. Personal storytelling and memory. Our memories are going to decline. And even our ability to communicate if we don't use our own brains to tell stories. So, when you think about captions, and by the way, when I personally write on my own Instagram, now I have the link in our bio for my own Instagram. You don't have to follow me, but if you're into health, if you're into bodybuilding, if you're into Jesus, if you're into the salon world, business, travel, events, podcasts, like that's what my personal platform, it's going to include everything. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. It's my whole being is that platform. And I literally write my own captions, mainly because, friends, I enjoy it. I think one of my top strengths is communicating. This is why I have a platform. So I like doing it. I like coming up with, but you know what? Sometimes if I'm struggling with how could I say this a little differently, I literally used ChatGPT once to rewrite a paragraph and say, like, how could I say this without swearing? For those of you who know me really well, I think one of my vices is a little bit of a potty mouth. Okay. I'll admit it. So great. Tech can help with that, but using our own words and our own gifts, I'm worried that tech can dull the gifts that we are born with, and it eliminates the sense of intimacy in relationships. That's really what tech can never replace, and it will not replace for your business. So don't hide behind a screen, think, how can tech solve this? Maybe there are some manual things or personal things that you and your leadership do to problem solve. In fact, that's something that tech cannot do for you is real time creative problem solving. in the moment, how do you handle conflict with anybody, whether it's a guest, colleagues, leadership disagreements? You need to be able to have the ability to step up and handle those situations, again, creatively, being a problem solver, and you cannot rely on tech for that. I promise you, there's a lot in this industry that we're working very hard on to make sure that we rise to the level of tech that's out there for other industries. And I think traditionally our industry has been behind the curve big time on that. So we're working hard on that. But what I'm here to say to you today is to encourage you that we're in this creative, intimate, relationship based business for a reason. And don't forget that that is the key and the power to a sustainable business beyond all your fancy tech. Okay. We'll get there, but don't lose that spark, because that, my friends, is what makes you exceptional. It's why customers choose your business over others, is that you are a real human being that they get to have a real relationship with. So I hope today's episode inspired you. If you love this conversation, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening, so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.